Good afternoon, students. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the force acting on the moving charged particle inside the magnetic field and electric field and their path trajectory in the magnetic field. In today's topic, we will discuss about the velocity selector and cyclotron. Dear friend, let's start with first topic, velocity selector. What is velocity selector? As the name suggests, we have to select particular velocity. How can we select a particular velocity? For that, we use crossed magnetic field and electric field. Let us assume we have a magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of the board and in the inward direction, such that when a charged particle, maybe plus q, maybe minus q, let us assume the plus q charged particle, when it enters in the magnetic field perpendicularly, inside the magnetic field in the perpendicular direction with angle theta, according to Fleming's left hand rule, magnetic field, direction of motion and force, it will experience a force in the upward direction, and hence its path should be changed accordingly. It should move in the upward direction, got deflected in the upward direction. So we have a electric field also perpendicular to the magnetic field. In the starting we said that we are having crossed electric field and magnetic field. Crossed electric field and magnetic field means the electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular to each other. So let's say the direction of the electric field is in the downward direction. So now direction of electric field is in the downward direction. Because of this electric field, this charge will experience a force in the downward direction. Hence we are having two forces, one in the upward direction, say Fm, and other in the downward direction, say Fe. And the charged particle experience the vector sum of these two forces. We say that total F is equal to Fm plus Fe. Imagine the case if these both forces are equal, then net force will be 0. What we are assuming? We are assuming that the magnitude of the Fm is equal to the magnitude of the Fe and direction opposite to each other, so that the net force acting on the charged particle become 0. And in that situation, the charged particle will move without any deviation through the both field. So if this is the situation, then substitute the formula. What is the formula for Fm? It's Q V B sine theta, where theta is the angle between velocity and magnetic field, and we in starting we said that the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. Therefore theta is 90 degree and sine 90 is 1, equal to Q E. Q get cancelled with Q. V is equal to E upon V. This ratio of electric field to magnetic field is known as velocity selector. Under this condition, the crossed electric field and magnetic field is called velocity selector. Why we call it velocity selector? Because this condition can be used to select the charged particle of particular velocity out of the beam containing charges with different velocities. Imagine a case when there are number of charged particles here and all are moving in the form of a beam. All the charges have different velocity but same direction. To select the charge of a particular velocity, we set the value of E and V such that the ratio of E and V becomes equal to that velocity. Under that condition, only those charges which have this velocity will pass undeviatedly and rest all the charges will show deviations. If for the charge which, in which V is small, they got deflected toward the electric field. In which the V is large, they got deflected toward the magnetic field, opposite to the electric field. But for which the value is equal to this set, the charged particle move undeviatedly. So that's why we call this term also velocity selector. And this is the relation which is used by J.J. Thomson to find the value of E by M ratio for the moving charges, for the electrons. So dear friend, this was all about the term velocity selector. Our next topic is cyclotron. Cyclotron. What is cyclotron? The very first question when we talk about any topic, the very first question which arises in our mind is what is it? That means if we say cyclotron, the very first question is what is cyclotron? So cyclotron is a device which is used to accelerate the charged particle to very high energy. It is a device which is used to accelerate the charged particle to very high energy. Second is how it works. How it works? To understand working, that means principle, construction, working and theory. Then purpose. That means why we need a cyclotron, what is the use of cyclotron. So what is cyclotron? We have discussed just now, the device which is used to accelerate the charged particle to very high energy. How it works? The systematic steps. First one is principle. What is the principle of cyclotron? Before discussing the principle of the cyclotron, the sequence we should start from the principle. When we start writing the examination, we will first write the principle, then construction, then working, then theory. But to understand it, let's first see construction and working. Once we understood construction and working, the principle will be clear in our mind and we can understand that properly. So start with construction. What is the construction of the cyclotron? It consists of two hollow cylindrical discs. Two hollow cylindrical discs lying parallel to each other. Lying parallel to each other. Like we are keeping the disc like this. Take a cylinder and cut vertically. What we got? We got C-shaped cylinders, hollow cylinders, hollow from inside. These cylinders are placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. strong magnetic field. And these cylinders are connected with a high frequency oscillator, that means alternating source of EMF, to provide the positive and negative polarity to the Ds or discs. Disc not D. Say D1 and D2. Then there is a window in the D through which the charged particle, excited charged particle, is allowed to hit the target. This whole apparatus is enclosed in the chamber. So this was the construction. Two hollow metallic Ds kept parallel to each other and perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. These are connected with alternating source of EMF to provide polarity, and window is provided in one of the D through which the charged particle is allowed to hit the target. Whole apparatus is enclosed in a vacuum chamber. This was the construction, and it's working. See, let us say a positive charged particle is induced in the gap, in the middle of the Ds, in the gap of the Ds. And when this charge is induced or placed between the Ds, the D1 is positive and D2 is negative. What will happen? This positive charge will get repelled from the D1 and attract toward the D2, and due to this force of repulsion from D1, attraction from D2, it starts moving toward the D2. And as soon as it reaches or it enters the D2, then it moves in the electric field free region. If you remember in the second chapter, electrostatic of the conductors, we discussed there that the electric field inside the solid or hollow shell is always zero. In a solid conductor or hollow shell, the electric field inside them is always zero. Therefore, there is no electric field inside the D, but there is a magnetic field. Hence, this charged particle, if D1 is lying this side, say this is the D1, this is the D2, the charged particles start moving toward the D2. And when it moves toward the D2, enters the D2, moves under the action of magnetic field. So what is the direction of the motion? Flaming left hand, magnetic field downward, direction of motion toward the D2, and the force will act perpendicular to both magnetic field and electric field, and it starts moving in a circular path. And as soon as it reaches the gap again, after covering the semicircle, the source of EMF changes the polarity and D1 becomes negative, D2 becomes positive. The D2 now repels the positive charge particle and D1 attracts. It is already moving, and during motion it gains a push from behind, pull from front, its velocity increases and it enters the D1 with a higher velocity as was in the D2. Again moves in the under the action of magnetic field only, so start moving in a circular path, and after covering the semicircle it reached to the gap, and as soon as it reached the gap, the polarity again got changed, reversed. D1 becomes positive, D2 becomes negative, again got additional push and pull, due to which it gains acceleration again, its velocity increases and hence enters in D2 with a higher velocity as compared to D1. This process repeats again and again till the charged particle gains sufficient high velocity or sufficient high energy and then deflected through the window to the target. Deflected through the window to the target. So what we have observed? We have observed that the magnetic field makes the charge to rotate and electric field make it to move faster. Magnetic field rotated it and electric field accelerated it. and it is crossing the same electric field again and again, but with a higher velocity. So dear friend, this is the principle only. A charged particle can be accelerated to very high energy by making it to pass the moderate electric field again and again in the presence of the magnetic field. The magnetic field provides the circular motion to the charged particle. This was the principle only. Once again, a charged particle can be accelerated to very high velocity by making it to pass the moderate electric field again and again in the presence of the magnetic field. The magnetic field makes the charged particle to rotate in a circular path. So dear friend, this was the principle only. So principle, construction and working. After working, we have theory. What is theory? Theory means mathematical treatments. And what is mathematical treatment? When it moves in a circular path, it moves under the action of the magnetic force only. So what is the magnetic force? F is equal to Q, B and B. This is the magnetic force, and Fc is the centripetal force and V square by R experienced by it during the circular motion. So these two terms must be same. This is the actual force which is present and which is making the charged particle to rotate. Therefore, this is a force which is behaving like centripetal force. So we can relate these equations. We can say that QVB is equal to mv square by R. Here sin theta. So we can see that theta is 90 degree because magnetic field vertical downward, charged particle moving in the horizontal direction. Therefore, the angle between motion and magnetic field is 90 degree, and sin 90 is 1. That's why we can omit it here. V got cancelled with V. QB is equal to mv by R, and hence R is equal to mv by QB. Dear friends, this is the same derivation as we have done in case of motion of a charged particle in magnetic field. Now, dear friends, we also know that the time period of the revolution T is equal to the total distance upon velocity. Distance in one circle is 2 pi R upon V, means 2 pi mb upon qb upon v. V cancelled out. What we are left with T is equal to 2 pi m upon qv. This will be the time period, and if this is the time period, the frequency will be 1 upon time period. That means frequency is equal to qb upon 2 pi m. Dear friends, from this relation of frequency and time period, we observe that these relations are independent of velocity and the radius. So whatever be the velocity, whatever the radius, the charged particle will reach in the gap in a fixed time interval, and hence they are independent of radius and velocity. Dear students, there is one more term, resonance condition. The resonance condition is that if the frequency of the oscillator becomes equal to the frequency of the charged particle to reach in the gap, then this condition is known as resonance condition. And if resonance condition fails, the charged particle could not get sufficient high energy. Why? Because say the frequency of the charged particle is less and the oscillator is high, the charged particle will not reach in the gap when the polarity of the oscillator changes, and hence the charged particle, instead of getting the push, will get pulled toward the D only, and its velocity will not increase, its velocity will get retarded. Therefore, the frequency of the charged particle and oscillator must match to gain the maximum energy. So dear students, what is the maximum energy, kinetic energy gained by charged particle? The kinetic energy K will be equal to half m v square. That means half m v. From relation v, we were having relation r is equal to mv upon q b. From here v is equal to r q b by m square. Half m r square q square b square by m square. One m cancel out. What we are left with? R square q square b square by m. This is the kinetic energy gained by the charged particle. So bigger the radius, more be the kinetic energy. So as the velocity increases, the radius of the charged particle goes on increases, and hence the kinetic energy, the energy of the charged particle increases simultaneously. So this was how the cyclotron works. Dear friends, what we are getting from the cyclotron? We are getting an accelerated positive charge. We are getting an accelerated positive charge from the cyclotron. And what is the purpose of cyclotron? Where we can use the accelerated charge, that is the purpose of a cyclotron. A cyclotron is used in various nuclear processes to start the reactions. Where the fast moving proton or fast moving alpha particle are required, there we can use this cyclotron. Second, used in implanting ions in any metal surface. In any metal, if we want to introduce or implant any ion, the ion got accelerated to high energy and then hit to the metal, so that it got implanted into the metal, and hence the property of the metals can be changed. It is used in producing the radioisotopes. So these were some uses of the cyclotron. And there are uses. On the other hand, there are some limitations also for the cyclotron. Let's discuss those limitations. Dear friend, first limitation, this cyclotron cannot accelerate neutrons, because it can accelerate only charged particle. Neutron is not having any charge, so when neutron will be here, it will not got moved by the electric field, and hence neutron cannot be accelerated by this cyclotron. Second, it cannot accelerate electrons. Now, electron have charge, they can be accelerated. When electron is here, the polarity is, say, d1 is positive, d2 is negative, the electron will start moving toward the d1 and enters in d1, then under the action of magnetic field will move in a circular path, will proceed similar to the positive charge. But problem is that the electron has very small mass, due to which in very first rotation, what was the formula for kinetic energy? It was q square b square r square by m. M is very small, so k will be very large. In very first rotation, the charged particle, the electron, gain very high energy, and hence its radius becomes very large, and uncontrolled it collides with the walls of the, say, cyclotron, and hence become uncontrolled. We can't use it. That's why the electron cannot be accelerated with this cyclotron. The other limitation, one more limitation is there. First limitation, cannot accelerate neutrons. Second, cannot accelerate electron. Third limitation, we know that frequency is equal to QB by 2 pi m. All terms are constant here, QB 2 pi m. That means frequency is constant and it comes in a gap after a fixed time. But according to Einstein's theory of relativity, m is not constant for fast moving objects. If objects are moving with very high velocity, then m increases. Say, if moving with the velocity of light, then it becomes infinite. So this relation says that m is not constant, m increases. with increase in the velocity, and if m increases, f will decrease. So f decreases. As f decreases, the charged particle could not reach in the gap in the time the polarity changes, and hence instead of getting accelerated, it got a retardation, could not gain high energy. This problem, this limitation is overcome by two methods. First method, m is increasing, which decrease f, increase the magnetic field, which will increase f, and ultimate result will remain same. That means by increasing the b, as the velocity increases, simultaneously keep on increasing the magnetic field. Such type of cyclotron in which magnetic field is increased as the speed of the charged particle increases are known as synchrotron. SYN CHROTRON, synchrotron. And second way, as f decreases, decrease the frequency of the oscillator also, so that they both remain equal and in the resonance condition only, and every time the charged particle reaches the gap and polarity changes. So second is by decreasing the frequency of the oscillator. Such type of cyclotrons are known as synchrocyclotron. So dear friends, this was all about the cyclotron. Thank you.